Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, there's always something exciting to talk about. Excuse me. In the Linux world, I haven't got enough water today, I think. There's always something exciting to talk about in the Linux world, and today we're talking about this new Linux Code of Conduct. Why is there such a debate? Why is the whole world going crazy? It's okay, kitty. The kitty's like, dude, I might need to get out of here. We'll talk about why. Why is the world going crazy? We'll talk about this and hopefully do it in a level-headed manner. And yeah, so all right, let's see. Let's go ahead and start out in the comments section. So hello to all. Mark, greetings. Isaiah Briggs, hello there. Android Free, hello. Did you say hello? Nah, I said hello. That's close enough. All right, Ron, hello. I haven't remember seeing you before, Ron. Everybody say hello to Ron. Music Addict, hello. Good tinfoil hat time and Orwalk and Christ videos earlier. Yes, I did publish a Foundations study today on that channel. PK, greetings. Yes, bring on the fuzzy snake. It's a fuzzy snake. All right. Hello, Kitsun. And Techlore. Greetings, Techlore. How's things going your way? All right. Yes, I was hoping to see you talk about this. Yeah, eventually I was going to. People wanted me to talk about it this morning, but I'm like, no, I'm going to talk about that tonight. All right. Buster Brown. Cat is waiting for the good Linux stuff to happen. Hello. Why you, John? Am I late? You are not late. I am just starting out. No notifications at all? Oh, lordy. I put this thing up like 3 hours ago. Felipe, hello there. Greetings. Is it Mates or is it Mateys? Greetings, Mateys. Frost Ranger, hello there. Dennis Tenhoove, hello. Linux World is on fire, and I don't have my fire screen on this setup. I should build it for this setup too. Hello, E4R. How's it going there? Just finished watching the Microsoft Managed Desktop video. Love the green screen. Why, thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one. Hello, Chad V, and greetings again to you. Oh, we got 35 on. Let's see if we can beat this morning's. There's always this competition. The morning crowd versus the afternoon crowd. The morning crowd, we had 94 people on talking about Microsoft. Let's see if we can get at least half of that talking about the Linux Code of Conduct. Is that doable? Hello, James Miller. Greetings to you. All right, well, I'm at the bottom of my opening comments, so let's go ahead and get started with this. So, of course, Linux releases a code of conduct. Actually, the stage of events is Linus Torvalds signed into practice the code of conduct and within 30 minutes took a break because I think he looked at it and go, yeah, we might need a code of conduct, and then, wow, I so violate this code of conduct. And so we have these kind of dual stories showing up in the middle of all this. And so the question is, what in the world is going on? Why is the world falling into total and utter chaos over this? And so let's go ahead and break this down. So, of course, we have a couple new folks on here. Hello, Mr. GFY. Android Free is from Portugal. Greetings, Portugal. No Kitty is waiting for Puppy Linux to get support for a treat dispenser. Yep. And Pizza Lovin' Nerd. Everyone join me in saying pizza, pizza. Hello from Seattle. What is the new code of conduct? We will get into that. All right. So, let's go ahead and leave my comment bake there so I know hopefully where to come back. All right. So, what's going on? First, of course, Linus Torvalds takes a step back. So basically, I think he was involved in the 419 release candidate 4, and then what ended up happening is the Linux Foundation put into place this code of conduct, and then within 30 minutes of that, Linus Torvald decided to step away so he could take some time to deal with his behavior. Now, of course, this is an interesting dynamic here because what's going on first and foremost is that there are pockets of the Linux community that are very toxic, and that is problematic. I personally have only posted a few things onto Linux forums, and they haven't always been met with the best things. It's just like simple, hey, here's something, whatever. this community can at times be rude and at times abrasive. Now, some of it is completely inappropriate. Some of it is just abrasive. For example, go on to Arch forums. In many places, you ask a question and it was like, read the man page, you noob. Most people have read the man page. Learn to write in English, you noobers. And that's kind of the part. People read these man pages. They don't understand. I don't understand the man pages half the time, and I know software and stuff. All right, that's kind of crazy. Kind of where the world is. But then there's places where, and there's cases where other people as well, but Linus Torvalds has really taken out crusades against people, calling people very rude, brutal, and offensive names in public writing on newsletter lists. And that, of course, can be completely uncalled for. And so there's certainly reason to have something in place. Now, of course, there's always has been a code of conduct, which should be self-explanatory, that you can look at it and say, no, maybe Linus hasn't been following that. I don't think we needed more clarification, but the original code of conduct is, as Brian Lenduke always says, be excellent to each other. That covers a lot of things. All right. And so as we're looking at this, what is the controversy? Well, what happened is they introduced this code of conduct. Now, of course, on Reddit, this was not met well. This is one of probably numerous different discussion points, and it is full of colorful language that I am not going to read on this channel. Some of it is valid, some of it is just throwing insults back and forth, and that is reminiscent of the problem. So it is some of the outbursts of a lot of these individual comments, thoughts, views, whatever, that have led to the necessity to push one such code of conduct. Now, the problem is the code of conduct except, I can bring that back, I think. Can I bring that? I don't know. I can't bring that back. I can view it. Yes. Sorry about that, Lon. All right. So, what happened is the code of conduct that they chose is a controversial one for controversial reasons. So this is actually an article from Foss talking about why it's controversial. Let's actually look at the code of conduct first, though. Let's go ahead and look at the code of conduct. All right, so the code of conduct is actually pulled from the contributor covenant. I actually closed the link that had the actual one on Linux Foundation's page. My apologies, it is the same. And so basically here is the problem. In the interest of fostering an open and welcoming environment, we as contributors and maintainers pledge to make participation in our project and our community a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of age, body size, disability, ethnicity, sex characteristics, gender identity and expression, level of experience, education, socioeconomic status, nationality, personal appearance, race, religion, or sexual identity and or orientation. All right, so the standards, examples of behavior that contributes to a positive environment are using welcoming and inclusive language, being respectful of differing viewpoints and experiences, gracefully accepting constructive criticism, focusing on what is best for the community, showing empathy towards other community members. Examples of unacceptable behavior by participants include the use of sexualized language or imagery and unwelcome sexual attention or advances, trolling, insulting, derogatory comments, and personal or political attacks, public or private harassment, publishing others' private information such as physical or electronic address without explicit permission, other conduct which could reasonably be considered inappropriate. So, our responsibilities. Project maintainers are responsible for clarifying the standards of acceptance behaviors and are expected to take appropriate and fair corrective action in response to any instances of unacceptable behavior. Project maintainers have the right and responsibility to remove, edit, or reject comments, commits, code, wiki edits, issues, and other contributors that are not aligned to the code of conduct, or to ban temporarily or permanently any contributor for other behaviors that they deem inappropriate, threatening, offensive, or harmful. Scope of conduct applies both within project spaces and in public spaces when an individual is representing the project or its community. Examples of representing a project or community include using an official project email address, posting via an official social media account, or acting as an appropriate representative at an online or offline event. Representation of a project may be further defined and clarifying the project maintainers. Enforcement in instances of abuse, harassment, and otherwise unacceptable behavior may be reported by contacting the project team at insert email address. All complaints will be reviewed and investigated and will result in response that is deemed necessary and appropriate to the circumstances. The project team is obligated to maintain confidentiality with regard to report of an incident. Further details of specific enforcement policies may be posted separately. Project maintainers who do not follow or enforce the code of conduct in good faith may face temporary or permanent repercussions and as determined by other members of the project's leadership. All right, now, first let's look at, obviously there's a lot of good things in a code of conduct. You know, we need to be excellent to each other. We need to not be abusive. We need to not be like, that's a stupid idea, blah, you know, like have constructive criticism in the midst of it. Here is where the things, if you were to edit this out in such a way that would be more acceptable. Here are your big reasons, and we will get into why these are big reasons in a bit. So you'll have to remember this. We're going to go into some other things, and then we're going to revisit this. Using welcoming and inclusive language. That is a very open-ended statement, open to interpretation, and is the most abused thing in our society today. That one statement, I think, is probably what's causing so much hoopla in the community. All right. Showing empathy towards community members. Obviously, that's a given. We all need to do that. Focusing on what's best for the community. Duh. Gracefully accepting constructive criticism. Very valid point. Being respectful of differing views and experience. Again, very valid. This concept of using welcoming and inclusive language is so subjective. This is where ultimately your problem comes into play. I have no issues with any of these unacceptable behaviors, and anything in the midst of this needs to have problems. But here's another thing. Project maintainers have the right and responsibility to remove, edit, or reject comments, commit, code, wiki edits, and issues from contributors that are not aligned to the code. So because I disagree with it, you may believe is inclusive language, you can simply say you can't contribute to this project at all. Swallow hard. That is the ability to kick anybody out for anything you subjectively think could offend you. And that is the core of what your problem happens to be. Now, who has created this thing? This contributor covenant was created by this character here. This is Coraline Ada, is an Emke, I think, is the pronunciation. Notable Rubius Nefarious Code Witch and notorious social justice warrior. This is where we're having our problems. Again, we are going to get into why with objective cases in a bit, so hold still. All right, I'm a well-known speaker, writer, open source advocate, technologist, over 20 years of experience in developing apps for the web. I've been focusing on software development with Ruby on Rails since 2008. I work diligently to promote diversity and inclusivity in open source and the tech industry. I was recognized for my work with a Ruby Hero Award in 2016, and I'm known as the creator of the Contributor Covenant, the most popular open source code of conduct in the world with over 35,000 adoptions. So here's your issue, and where I wanted to pull in this It's Thoughts article, because this article does a very good job of highlighting what are some of the issues, problems, and concerns with what's going on and why we have some issues. Now, they have a new code of conduct, and basically they want to have a noble goal, which is good. Linus, of course, apologizes for a lot of his past behavior, which is good because, frankly, he needed to. And then what ended up happening is there's all this controversy. What is the controversy? The controversy is this Contributor Covenant's creator, who you would think would be a person very well aligned to this. The problem is this person is not. This is just some of these tweets. Meritocracy is a dystopian delusion and needs to be rooted out wherever it takes hold. Now, that's something I didn't mention earlier. There is, of course, nepotism, favoritism, and meritocracy. These are kind of three ways someone would get a project. Nepotism, my brother-in-law. Favoritism, my buddy. And meritocracy, who is good for the project. Now, in the real world, for those of us who function in the real world happens to have a balance between, unfortunately, nepotism, favoritism, and meritocracy. Obviously, for a lot of projects, if you suck at your job, you probably won't keep it. That's just a reality. But a lot of people get jobs because they knew somebody. That's also a reality. Likewise, I am named as the technical advisor for my brother's video game company in the corporate documents. The reason is he knows me and I know technology. Okay. Now, if he didn't know anybody, he'd have to go out and find somebody, and no doubt he'd probably pick the best person for the job. There might be people who know a little bit more than me, but he trusts my views and my thoughts, my opinions on stuff in the middle of all this going on. And that is certainly an important thing. Meritocracy says the best person for the job gets it. What this person is pushing for is do away with that. We just want to have inclusivity and diversity for the sake of inclusivity and diversity, and that will only weaken a project because it means you're not looking at who is skilled when you're deciding who works on something. Do we want our code, the core of our systems, built by people simply because of diversity? Or do we actually want good people working and maintaining on it? That's a question we need to ask. Meritocracy allows bad actors to dominate and gatekeep open source. Yes, because those who know what they're doing can allow it to happen. There's some other things in there as well. The biggest challenge now, of course, you have to look at what happened to the Opal project. There was an individual person who disagreed with Coraline on some key issues of lifestyle, and in no way making any public attack, just simply stating an opinion. Coraline began a crusade to get this person removed from the project. All right? And I don't follow the project enough to know for sure if that actually happened. Coraline was neither in the discussion nor was she a contributor to it. But as an LGBT activist, she took herself to demand that Ela be removed from the project for, quote, his views against trans people. A lengthy and heated discussion took place at Opal's GitHub repository. Coraline and her supporters, who had never contributed to Opal, tried to coerce the moderators in removing Ela, a core contributor to the project. While Ela wasn't removed from the project, Opal maintainers agreed to put up a code of conduct in place, and this code of conduct was nothing else but Coraline's famed contributor covenant. Okay? Story didn't end. The contributor covenant was then modified, a new clause added in order to get to Ela. The new clause was widened the scope of conduct in public spaces, and malicious change was spotted by maintainers, and they edited the clause. Opal eventually got rid of the contributor covenant and put in its own guidelines. This is a classic example of how a few people are offended who never contributed to a single line of code to the project and tried to oust the core contributors. That is what people's issues happen to be. That anytime you start introducing this type of language, it opens up this Pandora's box of insanity that could be used subjectively to boot out anybody and their ideas, whether or not they know what they're doing, whether or not they're best for the project, whether or not it's going to help the project in the long run, simply because you disagree with the viewpoints. That is what people are kind of going crazy about. Now, note that Opal case, this person doesn't have anything to do with that, and trying to get that person removed. Now, fortunately, that didn't happen, and eventually they dumped that code of conduct and went with something else. Yes, something needs to be put in place to make sure there's not abusive language. Yes, a lot of Linus's past issues have prevented a lot of people, good people, from being involved in the coding projects. But to include open, subjective, inclusive, weird language that has nothing to do with anything, this is where we have our problems. Now, here I'll talk about some personal experience of this because I am a web developer on a freelance level, and I worked on a lot of different cases, and I found myself involved with an activist group at one point in time. And I talked about this in various places. Basically, we were an organization that built websites for other activists. Basically, a pro-activist group, which I didn't really have any issues with that, even though I was building a lot of websites for things that I don't particularly agree with. I don't really care with that one way or the other because I can work very well in the course of anything. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. The problem is when you get certain people on board who generally are subscribers to this type of stuff, what ends up happening is they become too militant in forcing their thoughts, views, opinions, and whatever else upon you. And it's this open-ended Pandora's box office of insanity that has no rhyme, it has no rhythm, it has no logic, and is subject to the whims of whoever creates it. That is what the outburst is about, and that is why people are concerned about it. Now, it doesn't merit at all going onto the forums and cursing people up and down. That's why we need a code of conduct. But let me ask you this. If we talk about inclusive and offensive language, and you happen to be a trans person, and we're in a conference call, and I'm referring to your idea, whether that's a positive light or a negative light, and I say, I like her idea. You know, we've all hashed out ideas. I mean, this has happened many times in board meetings. If you've ever been on conference calls, in board meetings, or in web conferences, you would have encountered this. You're going through, you're hashing out ideas, and you say, I agree with her idea. And that person, excuse me, I'm hen. Okay, if it deeply triggers you that I call you she or he instead of hen, whatever the hell that means, now we have a problem because you're starting to say, that's now offending me, so this person's got to go, and now they want to do a witch hunt against me to get me out of the project. So we had one of these individuals show up in the project, and guess what? Half of us, guess what? All the people who knew what we were doing, we all left. We're like, we don't have anything to do with this crap. We weren't asked to leave. In fact, it was a sad day for the organization when we all left. But you want to put some troll in the middle of that, I'm they. Our job is to get tasks done. Guess why? Meritocracy, people. We were the best people for the job. We were doing it, but half the team quit when this person shows up because it became so, you got to refer to me as these pronouns. That's the problem with the inclusive language. That's why people are having hissy fit. That's why things are blowing up. Because I got news for you. I don't care what you want to call yourself. I don't care who you want to go to bed with. It's none of my business. I don't care. But when it's time to sit down and do our work, we need to sit down and do our work. You want to talk about inclusive language, you have to realize that I may call you he or she instead of hen, they, then, zed, bed, jed, led, ved, or whatever hell else you want to come up with tomorrow. Because this list is ever changing. It's just like all the letters that keep on getting added. I don't care what you are. It doesn't matter. But we have a job to do, and that's to produce a good Linux kernel. And the problem is this code of conduct introduces a way in for people who have no contribution to the code to kick out the people who do. And yes, the people involved in the project need to learn how to be decent human beings, excellent to one another, not be using sexual language, not be intentionally invasive. But when you put in subjective language, we have no idea. We can't sit here and spend 3 hours arguing over inclusively hens and thens and zeds and zays when all we're trying to do is say, what's the best code to put in this portion of the Linux kernel? That is why people are blowing up. That is why this is causing controversy. My recommendation to the Linux Foundation is to dump this covenant, produce yourself a code of conduct yourselves. You got a lot of brilliant people. Develop something of your own and put that into place. And don't leave it so open-ended. And I'm gonna end here with some of the core reasons why this is so important. All right. You guys ever hear of Evergreen State University? Evergreen State University up there in Washington, they had a SJW blow up. This is to social justice warriors what Nazism is to Nietzsche. Realize Nazism was the end all point of Nietzsche's philosophy. If you study the philosophies of Nietzsche or Shaw, Robert Bernard Shaw, or is it Shaw? Bernard Shaw, whatever his first name is. These are the end points of their philosophies. And what happened at Evergreen last May is the end point of social justice movement. This is what can happen. Their budget went down $5.9 million. We don't have their final student enrollment numbers because it's not yet to the add drop period, but the early numbers, their enrollment was down. And by the way, once classes start, mostly the numbers simply drop. They don't go up, they go down. Right now, they're already down 60% enrollment. They're down to only a couple hundred students that showed up. Because anytime this infects any project, no matter what it is, it causes the normal people who know what they're doing, who care about the project, to leave. Because the last thing we want to do when we show up for work is deal with all of this garbage. Now, the problem is the code of conduct that they have adopted allows for it. I'm not saying it's there yet. I'm saying it allows for it. And as soon as these guys see one thing they don't like, whether they're contributors or not, they're going to get in there, they're going to make a ruckus, and they're going to cause problems. Now, let's look at 3 university cases. And I pull these out because this is really the breeding ground for it. You got to look at what happens on colleges and universities to see where your society is going. Of course, we started out with, this article here started out with the Evergreen State College stuff. So let's have a look at what happened at Evergreen State College. Oh, hold on. My desktop's not working. My desktop audio, I got to turn my desktop audio on, right? My apologies. Okay. I might just turn my speakers around. Let's see. Output there. Let me double check my settings over here real quick. Okay, let's try that one. Let's see if that works. And for whatever reason, my external audio is not working. I don't know why it's not working. That's kind of funny. Look at one more thing in my sound settings. Applications, Chromium. It might be because I had to adjust my input. Okay, check. Let me double check that, make sure that's working. Huh. Yeah, for some reason my desktop audio, which should be working just fine, is not working for me. Let me double check one more setting over here. Okay. Well, we'll just go ahead and turn my speaker around, and hopefully you can hear it. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, what happened is there was a quote day of absence on campus in which they banned white people, which sounds very racist to me. And a particular professor, Brett Weinstein, did not want to participate. So he showed up to do his class and to do all this other stuff. What ended up happening is a crazy mob who the administration decided to give complete credence to. They literally told the police recommended, they said, close down campus for the day. Because the police had information. Instead, the university said, no, we're not closing it down. They aligned themselves with this angry mob, the administrators. And then they told the police, don't come armed to campus, and if you come to campus at all, don't wear your uniform. Yeah. And so this angry mob end up taking white people hostage and holding them prisoner for a day. Okay. This caused 3 popular teachers to resign. The police chief resigned. It caused a giant, massive blow up. They lost $5.9 million, which is a very significant part of their budget. Their enrollment dropped 60%. All because this crap went out of control. Why? Because a teacher said, I choose not to participate in your day of activism, or whatever they were going to do. He came out to dialogue with them. He came out to talk with them. They simply screamed obscenities at him and said, we're not talking to you. So apparently they were not interested in a discussion. They weren't interested in a debate. They just wanted to get violent, abrasive, curse, throw things, damage things, take hostages. This is the end result of all this inclusivity we're talking about. Because I got news for you. When they start talking about this inclusivity, it excludes people like me who are white and who are male, and particularly who are Christian. I'm just the spawn of the devil himself. All right. Of course, we had another case over here at University of Missouri. All right, so this one here at University of Missouri, this is just simply a person who basically tried to kick a journalist off of campus because they were creating a documentary of the protests that caused a kind of a big junk in it. And basically, once again, guess what? They were forced to close 7 residential buildings. Their enrollment dropped 35%. Oberlin College.
Take it upon ourselves to paper our campus with alternative messages. We let people know.
Concerned students and faculty gathered at the African Heritage House at Oberlin College Monday afternoon. Classes were canceled Monday after a student spotted a person wearing a hood and robe resembling the KKK near the Heritage House late Sunday night.
As I was in the car, I saw someone.
Okay, so this is a big thing jump up. Obviously, somebody did something stupid. You don't trust like the KKK going on the campus, whatever. But literally, this happened because one of the students there, was it a student or is it a, no. Oh, it was a graduate, published an art video that celebrated the extinction of white men. Now they are facing a lot of financial charges. Enrollment is declining, negative credit ratings, and they claim to have the lowest enrollment numbers for over a decade. That is the end result of what happens anytime this type of stuff, this type of language starts coming to play. So for the love of the Linux kernel and the love of the Linux community, people are rightly concerned about this. Every single time this type of stuff gets introduced, it allows a way in for this type of stuff, and all that's left is a whole bunch of people screaming, whining, crying, and not contributing a thing to the kernel. It will destroy the project if it is allowed to fester. That is why people are rightly concerned. My suggestion to the Linux Foundation would be this, and I'm an outsider. You do what you want. Yes, you might need a code of conduct. Yes, you need to make sure that the things Linus Torvald said and did are not repeated. Don't adopt this code of conduct and make sure it focuses not on politics, which this does, not on lefts or rights, but on the importance of the code. That's the important part. So what do you guys think? And we'll jump back and have more discussion if we need to, but let's go ahead and have a look at our comments. See, that's a lot of comments on here. So let's see. Hello, Anna Rita. Greetings, greetings. All right, pizza. Pizza is being retracted, man. Pizza, you're retracting yourselves. Hello, Linux boobs. Says Jan, greetings. The manual pages can be confusing, like try man a tar. Even something as simple as tar gets confusing. Arch forms, yeah. You think you've been treated badly in Linux community? Wait until you see the comments from my Manjaro video that I had to delete. You see, you should have saved that, man. It got posted to the Manjaro forums. Good. I mean, that's the type of stuff we need to take. We need to show out to the community and say, you expect people to like your distro? So that's 2 people that watch my videos that don't care for Manjaro. Maybe Manjaro needs to take a look at themselves. In my opinion, all that matters for kernel development is the code. Let the devs kill each other if they have to. Everything for quality code. There you go. All right. And hello, Dennis. I don't remember seeing you before, so greetings if you are new. Hello, See the Boss Das. See the Das Boss, whatever. Yes, you are here in time for the talk. Okay, the new code of conduct sounds like SJW. Yes, that's because it was written by an SJW warrior. Come on, man. Self-proclaimed. Man pages did not fix my Manjaro distro. I'll wait for a fix. Yeah. Code of conduct, you must tolerate everyone, but you will not be tolerated if you don't see the things the right way. And that's the concern. And hello, Logan. Greetings. I'd rather have Cutthroat Dev than Hugbox Dev. Yes. At COC, and then the flame war began and he ran out. Probably. Like this dynamite, run! Maybe he was trying to kill the Colonel. I don't know. I bet inside Microsoft they argue too, like us, it's part of the development. Yes, it is. It's always part of development. It's always part of development. We fight, we argue, and we get a better project out because of it. Okay, they turn it into leftist bloop fest. Hey, we don't swear on this channel, man. Red Phoenix, greetings, though. The SJW cyber bullies took over. Cry bullies took over, yes. This is like when Python removed master-slave terminology from their language. It's ridiculous. Yep. Banned for wrongthink. New COC. Yep, I agree. Supersonic, hello. I'm late. What is going on? And why are people losing their minds over this? Hopefully I answered that. If a bad idea is a bad, I will tell that person, but not like Linus. Correct. And he did a lot of bad things, you know. Too bad they destroy anything they want, just like with gaming, just like with atheism, yep. Hug boxes should be a private group, not COC. Character, you mean that dude. I don't know what that thing is. I just said character, man. Nicest inclusive term I could come up with on the moment. All right. Because new code of conduct is tainted with dogma. SJW dogma. That is correct. Yep. That's why I think Linus apologized. Apologizing was a bad idea. Yep. A Linux SJW. Kill me now. Yep. She looks like that SJW in that meme. Am I right? I don't know, man. I don't spend a lot of time looking at memes. Dude is such a walking circus. Some people just can't act normal. I don't know. Okay, then what now? Bring Plan 9, contribute there. Hello, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. Will man pages comply with SJW COC, or will it be mansplaining? It will be mansplaining, I promise. Right, Kitty? Right? Are you into mansplaining? Yeah, the kitty's into mansplaining. Here, you want the mouse pad? Here, have the mouse pad. You can lay on the mouse pad. Go ahead, lay on the mouse pad. Just don't lay on the keyboard. Stay off my keyboard and leave my microphone alone. Fortunately, the microphone is mounted up high today, so the kitty can't mess with it. All right. Okay, social justice warriors are the worst as they make issues and problems and concerns where there are none. Yep. Simply can't use the word man anymore. Yeah. Wait. We got to check the human pages, yo. We got to check the human pages. Colonel Panic, Chapter Privilege. Mansplaining error. No man page found for splaining. This gets out of hand. We'll need to develop a new OS. BSD. Oh, no. BSD was infected about 6 months ago. SJW. Kill. Change the command kill to rip. Oops. Can't mount anymore. Too male. Oh man, this is just bad. This is bad. Hugs to BSD. Have you hugged your router today? Dude, I should make a meme out of that. Have you hugged your router today? You get it. Yeah, hugs are harassment. This can only lead to government surveillance within FOSS. Yep. Anyone miss Stallman yet? Freedom to spec whatever you want. I want a person who's qualified for the job, not because the company needs more women, so they do not claim the company may be sexist. Yeah, that's the thing, you know. Coming from a lady. Coming from a lady. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I'm in the middle of building a publishing company, and yeah, I will eventually be hiring people, subcontractors as basis to start. I'm going to be needing some code developers. I'm going to be needing editors. I'm going to be needing graphic designers, stuff like that. To share and split the loads with. I'm not going to be hiring people for diversity's sake. I'm going to be hiring people who can get the job done. Progressivism is going to kill Linux. Yep. Get out, IE. I got out Internet Explorer a while ago, but you know. Glow in the dark. GNU herd. GNU plus herd. Or just GNU. Time to fork the COC. Yep. We can finish the herd kernel and create complete GNU's OS rather than GNU Linux. It's GNU/horde. Switch to BSD. No, BSD adopted this a while back. Okay. Herd project is a joke. I don't know about the herd project. I need to look into this. I'm not good at coding, but I will help with GNU herd. DistroTube doesn't think there's a problem. Well, yeah, he and I would probably disagree. But that's okay. I mean, I have had the unfortunate privilege of being a college professor. I got out at like the perfect time. If I were still a college professor now, man, I just shudder to think what the results of that would be. I mean, it was slowly getting bad then. We had at my campus, we had the newsletter we could not unsubscribe from, which was the homosexual activist of the month. Well, I would like to create the newsletter that no one could object out of, the Christian of the month. I bet that I would probably not get away with that. I mean, I'm okay if you want to have that, but I don't want to necessarily read about it, so let me unsub from it, yo. I think they got deleted somewhere online, but I actually saved them for the nostalgia of it. But, and again, I don't care what gender or sexuality or whatever you are. It doesn't bother me, but man, I don't put it all over my face. So that's why we make it functional, so herd will no longer be a joke. I need to look up this herd thing. I am totally lost. How's Wi-Fi going for you on FreeBSD? Bad. Adding witch hunts and letting gaps, cracks in the code come in via financial contributions, aka Microsoft. That's another bad problem. Yep. Where's the fire? Unfortunately, I do not have a fire screen for this particular setup, mostly because the new awesome fire screen does require green screening. I'll see if I can do something though that's okay. All right, watch out if you call an SJW the wrong thing. They'll dox the blank out of you. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely crooked. Code doesn't care about politics. Yep. Why can't SJWs make their own call it? Call it social justice. Oh boy. Code should only care about the ones and the zeros, not politics. Yep. So they love infiltrating and take over things that already exist and changing it to fit their wants and desires. And they just leave a wake of destruction in their way. And this is, to be honest, this is why I don't contribute to a lot of things. This is why I'm creating a publishing company, so I can publish my books without getting involved in all the stupidity. Like, literally, I don't have the best background in past. I had a lot of issues in family dynamics growing up. And when I wrote my book, Testing on Temptations, at one part in there, in a story about part of my past, I wrote in there, you know, my life growing up was a living hell, which it was. My life was a living hell growing up. I put that in there, and my publisher's like, you can't have that. You can't use the word hell in that instance in this book, in this publishing company. Like, what? I want freedom, man. So I'm creating my own publishing company. That's the first thing. If you read the new version of my book, Testing on Temptations, you will find that I intentionally found that part and wrote it back in. Because I'm the publisher now. I'm CEO. Dog. Let the benchmarks speak for themselves. We don't need to go to BSD yet. Yep. Just wait. Just hold out. SJWs try to kill video games. When I was working at a daycare, one lesbian couple come to me, said if I was okay. I said, lady, I'll take care of your child as if it was my own, and you can be a lesbian. It has nothing to do with it. Yeah, that's true, you know. SJWs try to kill metal. SJWs tried to kill tabletop gaming, ruining comic books. Killed the DNC, now they're trying to kill Linux. Yep. I refused a code of conduct simply because it was a way of controlling people to kick them out because they disagreed with a minority narrow view. Tom7, greetings. SJW coming from cryptocurrency next. We're small in number, but we have loud mouths. I'm an Apache helicopter. If anyone disagrees, you're going to get banned from any and all projects you care about. That is right. Well, I'm a special unicorn. I'm getting my horn implanted next week. I'm an Apache web server. Oh, yeah. Desktop audio is... Really? Desktop audio? Well, I rolled this around. I can monitor my desktop audio at the top, and it was not working. I'll have to look into it. Not saying anyone should start trolling these, and we shouldn't. We should just let them do their thing, but we need to keep them out of our projects. We thought Microsoft was going to kill Linux. Nope, SJWs will. Yeah, I don't know. Which one has a better chance? All right, guys, straw poll. Who's going to destroy Linux? Is it going to be Microsoft or is it going to be the SJWs? I'm so happy this isn't a thing. This stuff is disgusting in the EU. This is disgusting. EU's too busy making memes illegal. Yep. Well, and no, actually, you'd be surprised. Look at Sweden. I don't know, is Sweden part of the EU? They got some interestingness going on over there. Move to Mars and continue Linux. Easy. Yeah, until they biodome Mars. EU's busy enough banning memes. Shots fired. Too much affirmative action. Anyone else think so? Yes, correct. Affirmative action had its place at its time. If you're unfamiliar with affirmative action, this came out because there was some prejudice in hiring practices. But now affirmative action has gotten so much that if you don't have a certain percentage of your company, a certain race or gender, but guess what? There's no affirmative action for white guys now. Which is why Google, white people are in the minority. See, we should be hiring who's right for the job. It doesn't matter what color you are. Because, you know, for a lot of people want to talk about how bad racism is, we sure have introduced racism back in this country. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's the thing. I think of my new logo. Is it the one you have right there? I'm having a hard time spotting the difference, but what you were working on was pretty good by the time I closed my channel out. DistroTube needs to figure out that progressivism is poison. Well, I mean, you can discuss that with him. That's okay. We can all have our opinions on this stuff too. That's all right, man. All right. Okay, it's not showing up. Okay. Deal with it, pizza. Tasty. Do you think there will be a fork? I don't know. Anytime you get an open source community, that tends to happen. Even WordPress is having a fork right now. Because WordPress 5 is allegedly coming down the pipeline. They still don't have the updates for it yet, but they despite the overwhelming majority people do not want Gutenberg, they're like, screw you, we don't care. We're putting Gutenberg in the core. If you want the classic editor, you got to install extra crap for that. There's an entire fork it's called Classic Press that is pushing out of the side of WordPress. Because this kind of stuff is... this kind of stuff's there. So I don't know. It could fork. I don't know. EU gave Europe to soldiers posing as refugees, and this is our American BS. Yep. I'm a white male. I guess I deserve to be discriminated against. Yes, just because of the color of your skin and your gender. Yep. But if you happen to be you just go in. Anytime someone's discriminating, you say, excuse me, I'm referred to as hen, and I am a trans female. You're okay then. You're okay then. That's all right. People of color can be racist, but if this was the other way around, people of color would scream bloody murder for anyone to hear. OMG, what is going on? College is for learning. Yeah, no, not anymore. And that's why I don't really advocate college anymore. I am not a huge advocate of college anymore because... all you see is this kind of crap. It costs an excessive amount. College has been co-opted for big business to milk as much as you can out of students. Students leave college, the average of $34,000 in debt. Some people leave with very little. Some people leave with quarters of millions or more dollars for basic degrees. And our job markets are down because a lot of jobs are being lost. And I'm not a huge advocate unless it's specifically something that fits your plan or you get free rides or things like that. It can be worth it as long as, of course, you're staying in the hard sciences where you get a lot less of this crap. And that's kind of the thing. And I'm highly educated. I'm a doctor, guys. I'm a doctor. I was a college professor. I believe in education. I think education is a great thing. I just don't think colleges is where you learn stuff anymore. And that's kind of the difference. Actually makes me sick, and I have black friends that would think this is BS, excuse me for my language. Excuse, but self-censor yourself, please. Okay, how about we just treat each other like decent human beings and not ugly words towards one another and leave all topics unrelated to the project at the hand of the door? I agree. Perfect. Sounds good. All right. I also have blue eyes and blonde hair. I guess that makes me a National Socialist as well. Yeah, you are. Hello, Kyrie Holmes. Greetings. All right. Why is it the people who scream the loudest for tolerance seem to be the most intolerant people? I don't know. Probably thought she saw a robe member. Okay, we're going to end up having an SJW kernel and a real world kernel for people who care about technology. Yeah? Ban white sheets and pillowcases. Linux kernel is in good hands. I do not know, but I only hope so. Yep. Tom's about to read it all. Yep, I did read it all. Is there... It is time for the Linux kernel dev battle royale. Tom, the debate was because of who wrote it. I had no issues with the COC itself, mainly because it's an actual common sense. New COC pushes politics, and we don't need politics stirring our community pot. Correct. Correct. Yep. The person who wrote the COC uses open source community to push agendas. Yep. Linus would certainly tick people off, including Intel, who pay him. He was focused on code and blasted people equally. Yep. You apologize, SJW will eat you alive. What's up with Manjaro? Well, apparently has a very toxic community. Believe me when I say that the instructors in English are the clearest I know. I don't understand the ones in mine. CFC will just destroy Linux for Microsoft to take over in the last few percent. Yep. What do we do now? The quality of code is going to deteriorate over time. It very well could. Can't someone fork the kernel and start a new Patreon to support it? Probably. You seen a movie, Enemy of State? Good movie. I have not seen it. Hello, Joker Midnight. What's your opinion on Nokia 6.1? It has a notch, but you can remove it in software, but it has a headphone jack. Hey, if I can remove it, if I can remove the thing and it has a headphone jack, sure. Okay, maybe instead of man, we can use help page instead. We either need to call it man pages or hen pages. Why are you so serious? Because. Did I miss Tom on fire yet? A little bit. All right, until we stand up and we don't let them proceed their agenda, destroying anything we want. Hard to sue. The world is going down the drain. But I'm concerned. The kernel source code contains curse words all over the place. So the kernel will be banned soon. SJW is working for Redmond. Press 1 for MS, 2 for SJW. Tom, make sure your unicorn is blessed by a priest. Linux is about freedom, and SJWs do not like freedom of speech. No, they don't. That's my problem with them. A very level-headed professor says, let's discuss this. Nope! F you! Shut up! No, that's not... What are you fighting for? That's what happened. SJWs returned racism. The left. I mean, don't accuse necessarily the left. SJWs are like... I mean, they're off field. There's no left there. They're off field. Linux is the beast and the specialty Parrot OS. Okay. White male's okay to make fun of, says the SJWs. Reverse racism. No, it's not reverse racism. It's racism. There's no such thing as reverse racism. Hello, LJ. Progressivism is poison. I can agree with that. Yep. Saw a chart that plotted source curse words versus versions. Funny. Not sure why anyone would assume I think otherwise. I'm a white Southerner who votes Republican. I don't know. Maybe it was the videos came off that way. I don't know, honestly. I agreed with a lot of what was in your videos on it. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out, DistroTube has 2 videos on this topic. Check them out. Yeah, I watched them and thought they were pretty good. Okay. Me saying I'm a unicorn to get respect and beam me up to Mars. Will you and CJ please help? CJ, can Anna Rita join in? Hi, Anna Rita. We will get you an application for the reptilian alien race. As long as I can get to talk to my girl. See, I mean, that was just bad. I mean, the kitty just broke the code of conduct, didn't he? You want to talk to a cyber girl? I mean, really. Most powerful handgun in the world will blow your head clean off. Yeah, I don't need powerful. 9mm is enough for me. Okay, I cannot stand college. All learning is done outside the classroom. Yep, and you gotta stick to the classroom to pass it. It's like, oh God. Got my CS degree in computer science, and I had to learn how to develop. Maybe wonder why I got a degree. Black people were white, white people were black, then black people would be racist to white people. Yeah. People were racist is not because of color, it's because of slavery. Also, black people are not 100% innocent. They were the ones selling the slaves to Europeans. Maybe. A lot of it was, there was some European domination going on. I'll agree to that. But that's kind of what's going on in South Africa right now. If you know what's going on in South Africa right now, don't visit down there if you're a white guy. Not good. Okay, so Dennis says that is indeed correct. I don't know enough about the history or the formation of all of that, so I'm going to defer opinion for those that have studied it. Enemy State is true classic. They basically painted the whole prison picture. Hello, Nick. Greetings. Pseudo RM Code of Conduct. By reverse racism, I mean that we are racism to ourselves. Everyone, we can relax. Nuck Swallow has fixed our problems. That Nick Swallow has fixed our problems. That is correct. Yes, he pseudo RMRF'd the code. Yeah, the code of conduct. Yes. Jube is wrong on progressivism being poisonous. Quite the opposite. But don't play. Yeah, I guess we could have a debate on the differences there, but I would probably want to defer that for. I'd want to probably defer that for a different time. I don't really want to get into all the difference between progressivism and SJWs because, like Brett Weinstein, who these guys were basically crucifying, is a left-wing progressive. And I would love to have a conversation with that guy. I would probably disagree with some of his points of view. I'd probably agree with a lot of his points of view. But at least with a guy like that, we can sit down and have a conversation. You can't do that with an SJW. And that's maybe part of the difference there. Good evening. Never got the notification. Just now happened to remember you were streaming tonight. Hello, Keegan. Greetings. Yeah, sorry, man. Because of crap like this, Linux will never be mainstream OS when people even need a COC. Yep. Beautiful cats. Yes. Thank you, Joke at Midnight. All right. I hate when SJWs say women have no rights, but they do actually have more rights than men, but they do not want to admit that. Yep. No, we don't want to kill anybody. Looking at 50 cal single shot rifle before they got banned for hunting. Yeah. Do you recommend Linux over iPad OS? Yes. iPad OS is iOS. Not a big fan of iOS. Code of conduct for what? Because Linus apparently cussed at too many people, I guess. Whoa, we have crossed 100 concurrent viewers. Greetings all. We might need to go back through and do a recap. Saying a lot of history on multiple sources. Africans sold slaves to Europeans. Okay, thank you, Pizza. I had no idea about that. Then what's going on in South Africa? They should be mad at each other, not mad at us. I'm progressive myself, and I hate those SJWs. All right, very good. And that's really the point there. Adam, greetings. I was on the fence about switching back to Windows. This culture war in the community has definitely made it easier to go back. And that's kind of sad. But yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of going to be the thing that happens. All right, let's go ahead. We have a lot more folks just jumped on. So let's go ahead and just do a brief recap, especially since I have most of my articles back up. Of course, the Linux kernel, the Linux Foundation, who is responsible for the kernel, adopted the Contributor Covenant. And the Contributor Covenant has a couple of things in it that are concerning to some people. Mostly it's the using welcoming and inclusive language, because that is excessively subjective and is readily used to completely ban people, completely ostracize people, completely witch hunt people. All that's kind of bad stuff. This one line. And then even further is, whenever they see anybody doing this, they have the responsibility to remove, edit, reject comments, commitments, codes, wiki edits, issues, and other contributions from contributors that are not aligned to the code. So it's like, you don't agree to this code, we're just going to take out everything that you've done. Doesn't matter if you've done the best stuff in the world. Basically what this means right now, Linus, you've disagreed. We need to abandon, just wipe out the kernel. We'll start from scratch without you, Linus. It's exactly the problem. And that's the concern. The concern is that the person who wrote this code is a self-proclaimed notorious social justice warrior who has used that platform to attempt to ban people from projects that she or he, whatever, I guess she, did not actually contribute to. Simply because the person disagreed with her point of view. That is the problem. That is the concern, that the vague language and this particular code of conduct invites that type of debate and that type of discussion. That is ultimately what the challenges and the problems happened to be. That is the issue. That is the problems. That is the challenge. That is why it caused so much of a blow up. And then, of course, what I did is I looked at a couple of university cases, because, of course, this is where this SJW stuff is on the forefront. This is exactly where things like this code of conduct come from, exactly where they incorporate these codes of conduct. 3 separate universities are all doing, basically utilizing these 3 things. All of them major cuts in funding, major cuts in participation. If this thing allows any hint of this stuff into the kernel, it is going to completely destroy the kernel. The disdain, all of this kind of stuff, guys, it's a concern, because I love the Linux world. I love the Linux kernel. I love the Linux community, as toxic as it can sometimes be. And I do not want to see it get destroyed by this stuff. And this stuff destroys the things that it touches. So that's a brief recap of what we covered in this particular video. All right, let's see. I was on, okay, kind of true. But they want to kill us. Okay. Gotta go to class. All right, man. Loving school. Hey, man. Catch you later, Tech Lore. And let me know when you want to do that joint video again coming up, especially since your schedule is crazier than mine. It's true. I knew a pastor from Nigeria and you black people that sold each other into slavery. Oh. And you and knew? Yeah, okay. All right, so I guess I was completely wrong about that, I guess. All right, search Google kernel source swear words as a way of picking kernel versions to avoid. All right. I'm not going to Google it. I'm going to start page it. Is that all right? Kernel source swear words. This is probably not channel friendly. Here's a nice chart. We have our nice words. I'm not going to say the words. If you might be able to read them, you might not be able to read them, depending on your screen resolution. We have 2 really bad letters. We have a few not so bad ones. I mean, I can say crap. Penguin is on the list. I don't know why Penguin's on the list. So basically kernel versions And it looks like our crap peaked out around 3.2 to 4.5, followed closely by the S word. And then we have penguin down here. And then we have the mother of all letters here. And then we have the word bastard here. I'll go ahead and say that word. So, yeah, that's kind of funny. So, and what is this? Number of instances. So, our kernel over here. So, crap is in here. It looks like about 180 times approximately. Our S word is in here 150. We have penguin ringing in about 85. We have the mother ringing in about 45 or so. And we have the bastard word coming in about 30 or so instances in the kernel. So that's an intriguing chart. Oh boy. Smash the like button, folks. You guys, for the first time, beat the morning crowd. We so far have had 102 peak concurrent, 99 on currently, and I did not stay on long enough to milk the morning show to 100 total view time hours. I think I'm going to do that this time unless we have a major drop-off. We are at 87 hours of view time. I want to get that up to 100. So tell your friends, everybody, get your friends on over here. All right, let's see. Smash the like button, smash with the force of 1,000 re-ing social justice warriors. Oh, Kitty, what have we done? Honest question. What if Linus gets pissed off and pulls the plug on Linux? What happens? Well, the foundation would continue on without him. It will survive. How well it survives is another question, but it will survive. Linus has 2 million subscribers. What exactly did he say? I don't know. Sources, Stepdad, Alternative History Hub, Extra Credit, the YouTube channel, and a bunch of books. All right. Wrong Linus. Oh, there's a difference between Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvalds is the Linus we're talking about. Linus Torvalds is the founder and general maintainer of the Linux kernel. You're thinking of Linus Tech Tips. No, Linus Tech Tips has nothing to do with this. Wrong Linus. All right, the Linux kernel gets forked. Linus has subscribers. Oh. Hello, Ben. Is that Ben? Yeah. All right. Okay. Not so Linus, the computer geeky hardware builder guy from the U.S. then. Actually, Linus, the geeky hardware builder, is actually not from the U.S. He is from Canada. Linus Tech Tips is Canadian. What a picture. Demonetized. Probably. Like your styles, freshman people like this. Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I hope that this PC virus does not infect Linux very much, or even Linus. I knew it was not like him to do what the article says. Yep, missed the point of Linux. It's all open source. Nobody can pull the plug. However, the community might need Linux. I gave my opinion earlier. Linus is a brilliant man. I think he is a brilliant man. Yeah. Why someone needs to fork the kernel now before it falls to tyranny. Well, I mean, there's no rush or urgency to fork it now because we always have the past versions. We can go back, grab any version we want. LOL, pizza. That's right, pizza. I was eating chicken. I'm going to eat chicken again. I goofed up. I totally goofed up and thawed out my my non-bone chicken last night, which was the last one I had to make tacos today. So I'm not making tacos today. I'm going to have to bake some chicken instead. Should I do, I'll do lemon pepper chicken. I've done that this weekend. All right. Meanwhile, my PC will be in limbo because every OS I have the ability to use has big problems at the moment. Yeah, every OS has issues. But do you have a PC? That's the biggest question. All programmers can help the development of GNU herd kernel. Freedom. Peter North here. Old Star, great educational stream. Hope Linux can jump back from this. I hope so. I'll probably... the problem is, though, the biggest problem is the people with all the power at the Linux Foundation right now, unfortunately, is Microsoft and Google. And they're not going to back away from this. I know that for a fact. I'll probably check it out later if I want to avoid those versions, though, because, well, I don't use that language myself. I don't care about it enough. Yeah, like, I mean, it's not going to show up somewhere, so I'm not going to avoid this kernel version because there's swear words in it. I'm certainly not going to go back to kernel version 1 to avoid swear words in the code that I will never see. But, you know. I noticed the trend that the number of swear words increased with later versions. Not sure to think about that. Do you believe Linux will take over? All right, dude. I'm going to remove that comment. We're going to comment down, dude. Yes, Noah, I am still live, and hello to you as well. Hey, I did not respond to your last Skype message, Noah. I actually have a video on how to install WaterFox on Ubuntu. It will be the same procedure on installing it on Linux Mint, so you can have a look for that video. I can send it to you if you need, but you should be able to find it. What if he said something the social warriors did not like, just have a passion for his project, and sometimes we put our foot in our mouth? It happens to all of us. Yeah, especially like, there's actually a channel I've been following with the Evergreen State University. There's a guy that was a student. He just graduated from there, and he was a student on campus when all that happens. He literally made this huge YouTube channel just talking about the whole thing. Real accounts, real people, had the professor on, had other students on the show. A lot of documentation. Really fascinating to watch his channel. And one of the things that was highlighted is like, they're like, you know, in the class that he was in with one of these SJW guys who literally took over the class, started verbally abusing the teacher, and the guy's like, dude, like, you're being abusive. You're not following the code of conduct you agreed to. And literally the argument was, no, since the teacher disagrees with me, I have the full right to be abusive if I want. That is literally their argument. That is literally the argument. Like, you disagree with me, therefore, what is this nonsense? That's insanity. And then another one's like, oh, I apologize. I didn't realize that offended you. Well, I don't accept your apology then. Dude, grow up. What are you, perfect? Apparently you're not. Jeez. Sleepy Eyes Vance, what are we debating? People rather than issues. Where are all the centrists going? Common sense dictates listening to both sides and making considered decision. Correct. Linus is I know. Linus Torvalds, Linus Tech Tips, my friend from school. There you go. All right. Nick, greetings. All right. Well, anyway, at the end of the day, this is the same debate that is freaking politicians out. The hate speech, the free speech. When is free speech reprehensible? When do people go too far? Like Alex Jones, was it right to shut? That's the thing, you know. When is free speech allowable? When is it not? Okay, yes, yelling fire in the middle of a crowded auditorium is a bad thing. We can all agree that is free speech going too far. But me looking at a person and going, like, assuming the person is a male or a female and using a pronoun to that general effect, that is not hate speech, and that is not violation of free speech. Okay, when you try and shut me down for that because you have misguided opinions and views about what gender is, and I'm going to use that term because for crying out loud, I'm a Christian and I'm a scientist, okay? I have a doctor's degree in molecular toxicology that qualifies me to know something about genetics. I've taken a lot of genetics courses. Trust me, in the genetic code, there is male and there is female. If you don't like science and you like God, God made the male and female. Whichever one you agree with, we are total agreement between those two things. If you don't know what you are, and you don't want to listen to rational truth, and you want to listen to faith, there's something else wrong in your head. Now, something wrong can be in your head. I'm okay with that, and I don't care, and I'll respect you all you want. But when you try and force me to accept that viewpoint and be like, that's hateful, and I'm deeply offended because of that, and now you need kicked off the project because of that, that is where this can go. That is what our problem is. That is the challenge. That is the problem, people. And it's scary that the Linux world would come to this. But it's going to happen if the Linux Foundation does not take heed. Adopt a code of conduct. I'm in complete agreement. But drop this one and develop one of your own. Get rid of the nebulous language. LTT, the proprietary Linux. Alrighty. Okay. I used your taco seasoning. That's great. I put in guacamole. Very nice. Very cool. Yeah, that taco seasoning is good. Google wants the Linux kernel to live because Android and Chrome OS. Yep. Leave Linux and move to React OS. Why? It's been an alpha since Windows XP. We have 4 versions of Windows since then. All right. Hasn't been in development for over 10 years. Oh, no. It's still in development. Oh, yeah. It has been in development. Yes, it has been in development for over 10 years, and it is still in alpha. Correct. And hello, the Micro 2000 again. Greetings. Sleepy Vance, I found what DistroTube said about getting angry and taking things personally made me the most sense these days. I've got a super chat. Thank you very much. I will get to that in just a moment. Mr. GFY's got to run. Awesome. We'll catch you later. Ghost Mirror, hello. Wonder if you have ever done a full Gentoo install. I actually did. No, the closest I got to Gentoo install was I did, is it Soybean? One of those. Soylent Green. I don't know, whatever it was. Sabian, I think it is. I did a Sabian once. All right, let's see that super chat. Sleepy Vance, $5 to get set something on fire. It's cold here. P.S. Thanks for switching me to mint. Awesome, very good. Does that mean I need to find a kiddie screen? Like I gotta rebuild my fire screen. I will rebuild the fire screen after I'm done with this stream. I will rebuild the fire screen on this one as well. It won't be as cool because the other one's so cool because I have green screening effects, but I will rebuild the fire screen for this, so we'll have it on the next screen here. SJW failed videos are funny. Yeah, some of them are boring, some of them are funny. Chase Thomas, greetings. Hello there. All right, amplify the debate exponentially. I hope that those extremes won't stay around for too long. We know how dangerous they can get away. Man, Linux is just at a crossroads. Is this either going to divide or conquer and bring the community back together? It looks like Linus stepped down for less than a week, and look where we are. Yep. It's wrong to shut down Alex Jones. I agree. Unless you can actually show me videos where he was absolutely breaking the law, don't censor him. I think the guy's a nut job. But sometimes we need the nut jobs on the internet. It gives us something good to laugh at when our day's going bad. If Alex Jones videos did not exist, we would not have the awesome rap remix about the gay frogs, man. I mean, come on. That is an awesome rap remix. And so, you know, absolutely. And somebody actually had pointed me to some things, and I lost the references, so I'll have to see if I can find them again. Alex Jones, what you call a useful idiot. They use him as an excuse to start censoring. Now it's just Alex Jones. The next time it's someone else who does contribute to the public debate. Yep. What a miss just got here. Yeah, I'm triggered. Yes, I'm very triggered, Benjamin. First they came for Alex Jones. I did not speak up, for I am not a conspiracy theorist. Then they came for Linus Torvalds. I did not speak up, for I'm not a kernel developer. And when they came for me, there was no one left to speak up for me. That is a quote. It was actually not created by, but it was radically popularized by Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was one of the only pastors who stood up to Hitler in Nazi Germany, and he paid for it for his life in Auschwitz. A true Christian martyr in World War II era. He is a person who stood up and said, guys, open your eyes and look what's going on. And he paid the ultimate price for it. We all need to take from that lesson. So thank you, Atone, for that. I care about technology, and I've actually seen projects that take the whole political correctness thing so far, the project was no longer about technology. Linus Torvalds. Yep. Alex Jones is like the ancient aliens guy. He just asks, what if? That's right. Day gets ruined because someone called you the wrong pronouns and you have no real problems in life. I completely concur. He called me she. First world problems. Amen to that, DistroTube. There are 2 genders, male and female, and a few little odd genetic abnormalities that are well classified in science. Free speech means free speech. Anything is not allowed, not free speech. Alex Jones is a fraud like Donald Trump. Thank you again, Sleepy Eyes Vince, for the super chat. Not about faith or facts. Pride is the name of the game. They can't accept anyone to be indoctrinated, and even if they believe they may be just as useful lie. 5 versions. Really? 5? No, because I think it came out during XP, which was after NT, Millennium, and 2000. So you'd have XP, Vista, 7, 8. Oh, you're right, 5. You're right. Haha. Duh, I forgot about 8. I guess we all do. Oh, boy. We need to stop with the political correctness and just be nice to one another. I agree. Yep. Switch to Temple OS. All right. React OS, I'd rather keep using Windows 7 for the next 20 years. Will React OS ever be completed? No. It will be completed and then Judgment Day will arrive. Yes! Release! And then that's when the nuke is coming. It's really the modern day Mayan calendar. React OS. The day it releases will be the end of time. Mine has a slow package manager. Nowhere in the First Amendment does it say you can't say something. Well, agreed, but you have to understand some things for safety. If you yell fire in a crowded theater when there is no fire, I can get behind a public safety element. That's all right for that. Aristot, greetings. So in the past, Linux kernel accepts people who swear and do not swear. Now excludes people who swear, but some people who swear are better developers from ones who don't swear. Correct. Correct. And I don't necessarily want to subject myself to all that language, but I can be okay. And maybe it's good if we can sit back and tell somebody, hey, could you maybe tone it down? Maybe only drop 3 or 4 F-bombs in a meeting instead of 35 or 40. And I think that's okay because again, it brings back to decency. If you want to swear in your personal life, go for it. I mean, even in your own public channel. If this were a channel where I just want to drop F-bomb left and right, that's my right. And I'm okay with that. I may or may not watch a channel that looks that way, but yeah, but we shouldn't exclude people because they swear or because they fail to refer to somebody by the pronouns of their choice. That is the concern. Script, when it calls those kids who survived the shooting actors, I believe that in specific instance he went too far. Yeah, probably. LOL, my wife said people who use Gentoo must not want to have their hair. Probably. Unless you're a Linux nutball, yeah. Alex Jones is a total Fruit Loop. Doesn't he make him a bad guy? He's hilarious, yeah. Yes, but you realize he's a nut job. Some don't. I agree, yep. But just because some people don't realize he's a nut job, some people still realize Windows is a great operating system and Google has your best at heart. That doesn't mean we shut down Google. Well, maybe we should, but I don't know. SJW is a bunch of control freaks. All they do is pout and demand we bow to them. They never satisfied. They never give credence. No solution. Best to just live life ignoring them. Yep. Not right. Maybe very close. Close to us have enough patience. 227 packages for KDE. Oh, joy. I agree. That doesn't negate the fact extreme right nuts are insane too. If all the Linux distro developers concentrated on developing just one operating system, then Linux would be better able to compete with Windows in the future standard of all operating systems. Yeah, however, the problem is that there's too many opinions about what makes a good distro, and so I understand why that's not the case. Well, I've just said, how in the hell am I supposed to know if she is a he and he is a she, because sometimes it's hard to tell. Because you're supposed to, any new person that you meet, you're supposed to ask them what preferred pronouns they prefer. All right, I'm doing it. I'm going to look for the pronouns chart that is pushed on several campuses. Okay, so if you are unfamiliar with what we're talking about, this is starting to spread around to several college campuses. So this is from the University of Minnesota. This is non-binary gender pronouns. And they say many people understand the existence of gender pronouns beyond beyond binary, she, he, hers, him, he, his. However, they may not be familiar with how to use those pronouns in sentences. As a result, even when they know the pronoun's a reference for a person, they can struggle to incorporate the pronouns in their writing. The following chart provides examples of some non-binary gender pronouns in a variety of forms. So, they, them, theirs. I am heirs, ze, her, hers, they, theirs, theirs, kers. And of course, hen has become a popular one. There's a whole lot of them. There's an entire gender pronoun blog. Yeah. I guess you consider 8 and 8.1. Yeah, you'd have 6. I don't know. I think 8 and 8.1 I'd probably consider the same essentially. Do you believe that this is a reset of the medium since technology has opened a forum to express all feelings the way of overruling a company or group? Ooh, I got to read that a few times. Do you believe that this is a reset of the mediums since technology has opened a forum to express all feelings, the way of overruling a company or a group is changing? It might be a reset. Yeah, it might require that. It might require we nuke this entire thing and just restart. I don't know. Freedom also has a responsibility and respect. Yes. That bad, just like the tiled start screen. Okay. Wait, Switch Linux, a quick off topic. You talked about parental control and elementary OS as in one of your videos. Any idea if there is such an app on Debian? I do not know. If anybody else know the answer to that? Is there a parental controls application you can get on Debian? Let us know in the comments. Okay, I look younger than my age for a medical reason. When I was like 19 or 20, long hair, a kid asked his mom if I was a boy or a girl. I honestly just laughed. It didn't scar me for life. That's right. Alex Jones went too far, but there's not a reason to censor him. However, it can be done with, it can be a reason to prosecute him, and then the judge can decide whether he went too far. Yeah, I agree. What's wrong with Windows? It rocks. Runs away to hide. Using Windows 10 with classic shell and lots of nutty stuff. Isn't he getting sued? Yes, he is getting sued. But again, he's not found guilty yet. And it's all just civil stuff. Problem is, this is a religion. They have high sparrows that decry the world, only exists in layers of privilege and power. Original sin is white cis male. That's right. I am original sin. Just repeat that. If you happen to be a white male, just repeat after me. I am original sin. I am original sin. I am original sin. Okay. School who's openly transgender and she jokes about it. Okay. Call them the sex as I see them. If they don't like it, too bad. They push their code of ethics and moralities on others. You don't follow their religion, then you have sinned. You're not a heretic. You're a toxic person. I'm okay with he. Laugh when my balding head is called a she and they feel elegant. I hope this pronoun chart will never exist in Europe. It probably does. Actually, it does exist in Europe. Sweden is Sweden technically part of Europe or not? I don't know. Sweden is the forefront leader of all of this stuff. There's an entire thing that Vice actually did a article on this. They call them the theybies. I found a copy, but it looks like it's might be a different language. Yeah, this one's actually a different language. There is a copy of this in English as well, I think. In fact, I know there is a copy of this as well. But basically, this is a Vice article in Sweden. So this is a family who is raising their children to not have any gender. And in not having any gender, they basically want them to grow up with deciding what gender they are for themselves. And so they use all these neutral pronouns. In Sweden, hen is super popular. And so one commentator, No BS commentated specifically on this video, looking at, basically said this is not gender, non-binary gender, any of this. This is feminization of males. And that's kind of what some of the issues are. So yeah, this stuff is in Europe, for sure. At least over the seas. I'm just an ignorant American, so I don't know if technically Sweden is part of Europe or not. But yeah, this stuff is big over there too. Truthfully, get a headache from the pronoun chart. I'm used to mathematics and physics. Spain also disappointing. XX, XY, what's the problem? Actually, in Spain, in Madrid, it is now illegal to manspread. Just an FYI. Some might feel to be another sex. We just have the respect to their view. We are all humans. Care about a man feeling like a woman the other way around. That's fine. Pronouns are convenient. That's why we invented pronouns in most languages. Latin is sort of an exception. Not really. Even Latin has the masculine, feminine, and neutral that that the other classical languages have. Spain is one of those adamant nations I'm not sure the word, defends those ideas. They have manuals for 5-year-olds and younger. And Chile wants to use those as well. My town, we have a few SJWs and they harass everyone. Their motto is straight white males are evil. Go figure, yeah. Well, Tom, I'm not going to ask the person their preferred gender, as to me, there are only two. Yeah. Switch Linux just said that I was the original sin. Wife agreed. Stupid when Christians are racist to Middle Eastern people because Jesus was born in the Middle East. And the reality is real Christians aren't racist towards anybody. But yeah, there are certainly some Fruit Loops who are that way. There's a lot that can be said about that, and I'll save that for my other channel, though. So you live there. Okay, so Thank you for the clarification. Okay, educating this stupid white American. All right. It is stupid that Jesus is being depicted as a white male who was born in the Middle East. Yes, but he was Jewish, which is actually a traditionally white race. There are multiple races in the Middle East. Jewish is one of them. All right. Since when was it okay to hold EULAs above the First Amendment and all other basic human rights? The religion of the SJWs is polluting society. Anyone offended can now claim hate speech is dumb. Yep. She the runner. There are also X, Turner syndrome, XYY. Yeah, and these are all known genetic abnormalities that are cataloged in our science and medicine. In Sweden, hen is the correct word, but most use hi. And he and she still, hi and he and she. Okay. I'm a believer. I don't call myself a Christian. All right. Okay. Agreeing to the EULA is waiving your rights. But hen is a female chicken. How is that gender neutral? Good question. In French, you don't have a neutral pronoun, so that settles it. Point being is entities like Facebook, Twitter, etc., social media Mongols with EULA so large the company should secondarily to the Constitution. Yes, Sweden is part of Europe and a part of European Union. Thank you. Your teachers who are teaching you that Muslims are peaceful should be shot dead. Well, some Muslims are, but for the most part, in the core teaching of the Quran, there are some reasons to question that. But yeah, thanks for retracting that. All right. Professor Emma Ray, greetings. What color were Middle Easterners before Arabs invaded? Well, there were a lot of them. To look at where it all came from, obviously, I think most of them were darker skinned, not necessarily like as dark skinned as some of your traditional African would be, but they were darker skinned, more like more like what you'd expect your traditional Middle Easterners, maybe closer to like an India tone. But the Jewish nation specifically has been and always has been white. And that is the lineage from Jesus. And so there is a lot, it's not as easy as white and black. There's a lot of colorings in between. And that's kind of what what that is. We'll save some of that for later. Well, okay, Katie. Let's go ahead and do a final call for comments. It's getting late. I'd like to have something to eat here. And let's go ahead and do our... if you are new to this stream, thanks for hanging out for this crazy stream. I hope you guys come back. We try and always do some very fun stuff on this channel, tutorials and things. I have a couple nice series planned, but we always like to end this stream by feeding the kitty. And I forgot to make him get his own treat first this morning, so we got to make him get his own treat. Good. There you go. There you go, buddy. Quick. Get your paw in there, buddy. Get your paw in there. Put your paw in there, buddy. You got to do it. No, don't put your nose in there. All right, he's getting his treats with his nose. Get your paw in there. There you go. That's what people like to see. People like that paw action. Oh, he's getting smarter. He's just moving his paw up to the front. All right, all right. One more, buddy. One more for you. Right here. There you go. Are they finger licking good? They are, aren't they? Yes, they are finger licking good. Yes. Alrighty. Alright. They are in the United States, therefore they should respect the law. The fact that companies like Google helped the Chinese lock up and track down dissidents isn't a point to be made. Muslims are just people. They're good and bad on everyone. All right, gonna make more pizza. All right, pizza's gonna make pizza. Pizza. Ooh, that's a bad view of the cat. Let's go ahead and get that view of the cat off of here. Kitty, people don't want to see your butt. People don't want to see your butt. Oh, boy. It's a private company. They can set any EULA they want. It's up to the consumer employees to accept it. See, Scott, I'm going to disagree with you on a part. How many students in America... have agreed to the EULA, intentionally, specifically understood and agreed to the EULA before the school district gave them a Microsoft or a Google account? How many parents agreed to that on behalf of their children? Almost zero. So I'm going to disagree with part of that. Now, a lot of it, what you're saying, is right. We are the ones agreeing to it, but also a lot of our society is being made into such a way that we can't live without some of these things. It's like, agree to our EULA or don't participate in society. Well, that's not right either. So I think the EULAs need to be controlled on a federal level, to be honest. Let's talk about Europe and other free countries. China's typical. It's like saying Nazis are just people. Look at the ideology, not just the person. All right, I think we need a kitty code of conduct. The kitty's code of conduct is simple. Kitty, you. Don't knock over my microphone. Be cute. Show up for your job, and you get kitty treats. There's your kitty code of conduct. And don't stick your butt in the camera. Okay. Europe respects human rights. Do you think it should be legal for Germany to lock up Holocaust deniers? The whole point of free speech is to not be subjugated. Can you say F the king? If not, he rules. I mean... I don't think Holocaust deniers should be locked up. To my understanding, Jesus descended from the tribe of Benjamin. Both the tribes of Benjamin and Ephraim were noted for their red hair. I was unaware that they would be noted for their red hair, but traditionally, look up, talk to some Jewish people that you know that are more pure, purebred Jewish people, and that's essentially what Jesus would have looked like. I mean, pretty close, of course. I don't agree to Microsoft's EULA. Yeah. Bad Wolf Plays. It's a civilization, not just a religion. Matters a lot. All right, guys. This has been a crazy stream. I don't know if this is my highest peak concurrent, but it was pretty high. We had 102 peak concurrent, 138 total viewing hours, 74 viewers right now, 259 playbacks, average view duration, 31 minutes and 57 seconds. Thanks for coming along on this crazy, crazy trip. Tomorrow we'll just do something boring like a Linux distro. I don't know. Unless I find something else crazy going on. But anyway, we will talk to you guys later. Thanks for coming along. And there will be another live video tomorrow, probably 6 o'clock on this channel and 9 o'clock on the Christian channel. So we can go ahead and chat about those. Other things there. So, yeah, Jesus did come from the tribe of Judah, though. That is correct. I totally missed what was said up there above. Jesus descended from the tribe of... No, Jesus specifically did descend from the tribe of Judah. That was the specific. That's why he's called the Lion of Judah. I completely missed that. I focused too much on the red hair of Benjamin and Ephraim. Been a mechanism of control over thousands of years. Funny that the cat has learned. Yep. All right, guys, we will catch you later.